Dr. Mahmoud Mohieldin, UN Special Envoy for Financing Sustainable Development. Thank you very much for joining us at Economy Middle East.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. So what role do IFIs have to play as new sectors and growth-driving investment opportunities emerge?
For these new sectors, including areas of investment in greening the economy, decarbonization, everybody's talking as well about new technologies related to AI, big data systems, all of that. We require three things. We require finance of abundance, and it should be more of a better mix that, unfortunately, funding and financing development and new projects had been very much heavily relying on debt. Even the concessional debt, given the exchange rate risk, is still costly for many developing economies and countries of the global south. So what we need from the IFIs is first to have efficient finance to accelerate the decisions for availing funding, to leverage the private sector to have a proper mix of blended finance. And that finance needs to be accompanied by technical assistance, capacity development, and knowledge transfer. And that finance as well needs to have a look at the regulatory structure and the policy framework, as we have seen in many successful projects recently in many countries in Africa and the Middle East, especially in renewable energy.
Yeah, fascinating. Thank you. So how will they ensure that there is a level playing field between developed and less developed economies?
Well, this is a very big issue, leveling the playing field between countries and within countries. So between countries, we need really to pay good attention to the new industrial policies and the new trade measures. Even if they mean good, sometimes they have negative spillovers. I can give you an example. The IRA, for instance, the Inflation Reduction Act of the US, the science and technology in the US that is allowing more investments, supporting the private sector. The infrastructure investment law, it's great for a country to do that. But if these kind of laws coming with huge subsidies, they will put many of the countries in disadvantage. And based on cases of projects, not in theories, not in abstract scenarios, that many of the projects, especially in the green energy and the new green economy, had their projects revised because of these new measures adopted in the US. What can you do about that? Some sort of consideration of the spillovers would be helpful. The other one, very famous now, what's so-called the CBAM, the cross-border adjustment mechanism that is targeting the hard-to-abate sectors like steel, aluminum, cement, fertilizers. And it's in the EU, and the UK did the same and added as well to it ceramics. It's important, of course, to have these kind of measures, but some good consideration of their impact on trade flows, on investments, on the supply chain is going to be very much warranted. This is between countries. Within countries, we need here to have the concept and philosophy of the level playing field exactly as we refer to a football game. A neutral referee, 11 players each, and then there are rules known for everyone. The games could be between public and private, foreign and domestic, but the leveling of the playing field will make the best win. And if you translate that into economics and business, this means antitrust laws, competition and consumer protection, taxing all without discrimination, for all to be with the same kind of adequate access to credit without privileges, and of course, access to labor without privileges. If you secure that, I think the issue of competitiveness and leveling the playing field will be realized, and you'll be seeing less complaints, especially from the smaller enterprises and the medium-sized enterprises.
That's a great response. Thank you. I just have one more question for you. So what can governments and the private sector do to identify these opportunities and harness them?
Some of the best projects ever we have seen recently through public-private partnerships. And you can add as well the newcomer to the scene, which are the philanthropies.
Yeah.
They are coming with abundance of finance for some particular projects, with technical assistance and awareness of the needs and requirements of communities and societies. The basic rule of the game here is understanding the comparative advantage of the public sector. Yeah. In many cases, the public sector or the government can intervene through contribution by resources or land. And then the private sector with the talents, with the skills, with the funding, with the dynamics of competition that they are much better at, and the philanthropies of what I just mentioned about them.
Yeah.
And of course, you need really to have the government intervention to the minimum, because the government responsibility at the end is going to be about setting the rules, the regulatory frameworks. You cannot really be a judge and judge at the same time.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your
All the
time.
best.